Yo, CJ Sen, and I'm back with another video. Today's video, basically, I took the time out of my day to compile a list of things that I can use to talk about how to create a business in 2020, and we're just gonna get it cracking from here. So the first thing that I jotted down was you should always make time to find who you are, to really find yourself. I feel like finding yourself is, probably arguably the most important part of the list. It's arguably the most important part of life itself. Really knowing who you are, knowing what you're capable of, knowing what you want to do with yourself, knowing your purpose, knowing why God gave life to you, knowing why you exist, or giving yourself a reason to exist. A lot of people struggle with finding the reason behind anything. And the fact that we keep asking ourselves, why is this, why is that, it's kind of hindering ourselves from being all that we can be while we're still here. My personal example, I spent a good part of 2020 and 2021 really finding who I am as a person. And I'm still finding myself every day. You never truly know who you are until you expose yourself to different circumstances. So you learn more and more about what you are, who you can be, and how you deal with adversity, how you adapt to certain situations. Take as much time as you need. Be as patient with yourself as you possibly can. Try not to get frustrated in the process. But make sure you do different things, try different things out, see what you like, see what you don't like, and just hone in on finding yourself. And now for the second thing on the list, we got discover your imprint. So what I mean by discovering your imprint is basically kind of a follow-up to finding yourself, right? Let's say that you find out that you like pizzas, right? Now you kind of have to discover how are you going to make a difference with pizza, right? Are you going to introduce a new flavor? Are you going to introduce a new way of thinking about it? Are you going to introduce a new method to making pizza? Are you going to be a person that markets people making pizza? Are you going to market your own pizzas? What are you going to do? We don't know. But what we need to find out, or what we need to do, is to discover your imprint, because your imprint is how you eventually are going to leave your mark. Because at the end of the day, everything that we do on this planet, everything that we do while we live, leaves a mark on somebody else. You always leave an imprint, you always leave an impression on somebody. So your business is no different. So what you need to do is, after you find yourself, you need to discover your imprints, discover, how you're gonna change lives, how you're gonna make money. Basically discover your passion, so you know that you're compelled to do what you want to do, to make money, to make that business, to do whatever needs to be done. As long as you discover that imprint, as long as you discover that reason, that want to, that desire, that hunger to do what you want to do in life, then nobody or no thing, nobody, no something, no nothing will be able to stop you. Which leads into the third part of the list, which is invest in that passion, right? So it's one thing to find yourself, and it's another thing to discover a certain particular passion that you like more than others to make an imprint off of. But then the next thing you have to do is invest in that passion. You can't jumpstart a business without some type of funding or anything like that. For example, even if we're gonna use the classic lemonade stand example, you still have to get the lemonades, you still have to get the container, you still have to get the stand, you still have to get the cups, you still have to get, a whole bunch of other, auxiliary things to make the business function properly. Without any type of backing, without any type of funding, without money invested into your craft, you never really achieve the true potential of your business. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's gonna take time to look into what you're doing, look into what you want to bring to the world, if you're not showing that same effort with the business itself. No business is free. All businesses take time. If it's not a time investment, it's a money investment, and vice versa. To start my business of being kind of like a freelance, videographer, photographer, camera person, whatever, slash YouTuber, slash YouTube video maker, slash music video person, slash whatever you want to call it, right? In order to invest in that passion, I had to go through jobs that I hated, such as UPS. For example, my first job was my first real job that wasn't an internship was Chipotle. I worked at it for basically 9 months. And then after that, I left Chipotle for a higher paying job, but that was more strenuous on the body. That kind of forced me to be strong again. And what happened was, I hated every day of UPS. And I've made peace with it now. like over time and stuff, because it's been over a year at this point. But every time I go in there, I hate it. I'll be throwing boxes, I'll be punching walls, I'll be going crazy in that place. It's like Arkham Asylum. Like, you know, I'll put some clips right here or something talking about Batman and Bane and like the Joker and like Victor's ass and stuff like that. I'm a really big comic book fan, but let's get back on topic. The point is that I did stuff that I hated to do in order to fund what I love. So it doesn't matter if you don't want to. We all get the point of not wanting to work for anybody else. We get the point of wanting to be your own boss, but at the same time, to be your own boss, you gotta sacrifice. You gotta go through those doldrums. You gotta go through the desert. You gotta go through hell to get what you want. You gotta say F your feelings, because your feelings don't matter. Your feelings don't carry weight in this world. Your feelings aren't gonna make the money. Green doesn't come from being mean. I just made that up on the spot. I'm not Shakespeare, but don't judge me. Anyways, you can't be pushing P if you're not pushing P. You know what I'm saying? You're not P if you're emotional. You're not P if you let your feelings dictate what you do, like on a day-to-day basis. You're not P if you don't put in the work, if you don't try to get that profit to make more profit later. You're not P if you're not putting down the money you're not putting your body on the line. You're not putting your sanity on the line. You're not putting anything else on the line to get what you want. All I'll say is invest in that passion. Do what it takes. Do what you gotta do. Get right. And then my fourth one on the list is do not waste money or splurge. Basically, if you don't spend money, you're not gonna lose money. To make money and to keep money and to maintain money means to not waste money and buy, you know, the most expensive stuff that you could possibly get just because you want to impress people. Because at the end of the day, to get to that level of money to where you can buy whatever you want, you need to save it up now so you can invest into the business, which will inevitably raise your level of income, so that at a certain point when you made it or whatever, you can go back and you can flex on every person that ever laughed at you. You can flex on every girl that ever rejected you. You can flex on every boy that ever curbed you. You can flex on everybody that cheated on you. You can flex on all of your haters. You can flex on your parents for doubting you. You can flex on everybody. You know what I'm saying? But going back to the last point, sacrifice is key. If you don't sacrifice that innate pleasure, that innate validation you get from buying things to impress people on the gram and stuff like that, if you don't stop trying to cater to fakeness, then you'll never be real. You'll never be Pete. You'll never achieve the business. You'll never be a boss for real. You'll never be on that boss life. You'll never be CEO. CEO does what he wants because he did what he had to do earlier. I'm just saying. Alright, so the next one on the list, the fifth one on my list, is basically assert yourself to your friends. Because, long story short, when you first start out business, unless you have like a substantial following from the get-go, unless you're starting business from the standpoint of I have like 100K on TikTok, I have 100K subs on YouTube, I have 100K followers on the gram. If you don't have that big of a social following, then somebody's gonna have to, you know, kind of help you get work for your business, for example. For me, since I was kind of new in the game when I first bought my camera, the camera that I'm using to film on right now, I had to use my friends to create projects for free, basically. I had to humble myself to not, you know, try to just market something that I don't have. If I don't have a resume, if I don't have good content, why would anybody ever take me seriously? So I had to set everything up to where people could instantly just see my work, whether it was on my personal page at EJ Insane or on my portfolio page called Zelly Shots, which is, you know, an acronym for Zealous C or Zealous, which means to have good energy and enthusiasm about a particular subject or about a particular thing. Yeah, my whole stigma was just having high energy in general as a person. So it all made sense in my head. Alright, that's not the point. The point is that you need to use your friends and your family, your close ones, the people that mess with you, the people that F with you. You need to use them in order to create content. You need to use them in order to kind of just show people what you can do. Because more than likely somebody has something to where they need videos, because everybody needs videos. Or I'm just talking about myself. Let's just say that somebody needed a car tent, right? You want to do a car tent business, right? You got to get people that don't have car tents, that are friends, that are, easily accessible. You need to do it for the low. You need to do it for free because you are an unproven commodity. And once you do that, you make a video about it, you post it on the ground, you promote it with ad money. You do what you got to do. You got to assert yourself. And I kind of went off track. I kind of combined points 5 and 6 together, which is assert yourself to your friends and do free work to show what you can do. Because if you never show what you can do, then nobody's going to trust you in the future to make bigger money, to make CEO money, to make boss money, right? You ain't going to make boss money if you ain't got no evidence, right? So that goes to point number 7. Start charging after you have the evidence. So, for example, let's go away from regular people context. Let's go into NBA context, right? Or NFL context. It doesn't matter, sports context. When you have the evidence that you are all pro, that you're an MVP, that you're like one of the top players in the league at your position, or in the NBA's case, just one of the top like 10, 20 players in the league, right? After you've done the evidence, you've done the work, and you're an efficient player, and you're like really good at your craft. Going back to, whatever craft that you're talking about, whatever discipline that you're in. Once you have the evidence, you can start charging more. You can get bigger contracts. You can have leverage. You can do holdouts. You can do all types of stuff. But none of that matters if you don't have the evidence. You can't be out here dropping like 5 points a game and expect to make like $40 million a year. You don't get Supermax extensions without making all-pro teams. Even the likes of Klay Thompson, the GOAT Klay Thompson, the legendary Klay Thompson, didn't get an all-pro extension, or not all-pro extension, but a Supermax extension from the Warriors because he missed out on the third team all-pro because he was snubbed for Kemba Walker, right? In like 2019 or something like that. And going back to you, that relates to you as a person in general because everybody kind of is a contractor when you're an entrepreneur. People pay you for a service, people pay you for a product, but it's still basically a contract at the end of the day. So you're not different. Ball is life. Now to the second to last point, or the 8th point on the list, is to say that you adjust your prices as your craft develops. So what that means is, as you get better, as you accumulate more resources, as you get more and more acclimated into the business world, into having a website, into having, certain assets, into having, the ability to do more than you did when you first jumped into it. As you get better, as your business does this, your prices also needs to do this, so your bag accentuates what you are worth. If you do not do this, if your business does this, but your price is flatline, then your quality to quantity ratio is bad. It's bad. It's bad for business. Eventually, you'll never make back what you put in. The whole point of business is like a stock. It's like a credit card. It's like all this other stuff, right? You give out, you put down something now, right? You put it down now so that eventually in a set amount of time, it could be 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, or whatever, right? 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, I don't know. However much you put down, how many resources you accumulate from the jump, right? You put it down now so that in the future, you get more bang for your buck. You get more money out of it than you put into it. That's the whole point of trade. That's the whole point of living, basically, right? You put the money down now so you can get more out of it later. That's how you win. Because if you don't ever reach that same threshold, let's say I drop like $3,000, right? I drop 3 racks on a camera and some lenses or whatever, right? If I'm not charging people like $100 for a photo shoot, and I never get to like 30 photo shoots, and then I'll never make $3,000 back. So at the end of the day, I lost money out of my own pocket. It's bad for business. You know what I'm saying? You should always have a plan. You should always strive to make what you put down, at least to go flatline, and then after that, expand upon that. So as your business, as you put more resources into your business, always make sure that you charge proportionate to that in order to get the bang. Otherwise, you're not pushing P, you going on E. You know what I'm saying? The 9th and final point to this video is 2 words. Be patient. Be patient, right? So For example, not everything is gonna happen on day 1. Not everything's about to happen on day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7, day 8, day 365, day 734, day 1,600, 250 something, right? It doesn't matter. Okay, obviously we have deadlines, we have, time frames in our head that we think that things should happen, but sometimes it doesn't happen that way. You can't fret over it. You can't, get mad over it. You can't quit over it either if you really want that boss lifestyle. If not, you could just go back to school. You could go work for whoever, right, and just get money and live comfortable, I guess, or however you want to live. I don't know. Go back to the streets. If that's what you want to do, that's the type of time you want, you can do that too. It doesn't matter. But nah, the point is that you need to be patient. Not everything happens automatically. For example, I'm going to use me once again. When I started with the camera stuff, things didn't just start happening. Deals didn't just start happening. Even though I was asserting myself for a while, I did free work. I did work for myself. I got on the tripod. I used the tripod. Took self flicks and went in the city of Charlotte and just took flicks all over the place, right? That's all I did. I took flicks of random people. I just met people off the street. I did this and that. I did a lot of freelancing, hustling, philanthropy, just all types of stuff. Just being frugal, just being outside because I had fun with it. I was just enjoying the camera. I wasn't even really hunting for the money at first. But obviously I wanted money. That's the goal. You start businesses to get paid. You know what I'm saying? Just ask Young Dolph, get paid, Young, get paid. Like stuff like that. You don't start stuff without wanting something out of it. That's not always gonna happen from the jump. You gotta build up credit. You gotta build up a resume. You gotta build up evidence. But after you get that damn evidence, you win the game and you start playing. You start attracting fish, and then as one fish goes and you eat that fish, and you get bigger fish. You get a bigger fish. You get more skilled at hunting them fishes. You get more skilled at fishing because you're so patient, but you're so firm with the line. You know the type of bait that people want because you got better at it. You got better bait. You went down into the ground and got some better worms. And then you went back into the pond. You started throwing them lines like this, right? And then you was getting better draws. You was getting sharks all of a sudden. And then you was getting a whale and you got a bag. You was getting millions of dollars. It doesn't matter how long it takes. You just got to be patient and believe that it's going to happen. Believe in yourself and patience coupled with action. There's nothing you can't do in this world. You just can't give up. That's it. That's all. EJ ain't saying it, we out. But nah, let me know what you want to see. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. And yeah, subscribe, like it. Help me out if you want. Support. I'll put my cash up in there. If you don't want to do any of that, that's fine. Share it to somebody or don't. It doesn't matter to me. You go follow me on Instagram. See exactly what I'm talking about. My whole resume, my whole life story is on that thing. So I really recommend going there and seeing that. Or if not, you can look at some of my other YouTube videos. You can see my music videos and stuff like that to know that I am speaking the truth. And that is all.